Another dramatic moment today when surveillance video of the suspect on the roof was shown in court, but not on TV.
You know that last video that they showed that was zoomed in? You could see it as clear as the noonday sun that he came into the facility. He climbed onto the roof. He was in a prone position. He took a shot, ran and jumped off the roof just like the testimony showed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a short day today. This was the conclusion of the trial so far. The prosecution, the state rests its case here, at least for the time being. The defense had their final witness, which was a crap show, and it will be continued to September the 1st, which is where they will give both arguments, and then the judge will make his decision on probable cause. If you ask me, based on my experience doing this stuff for a very long time, there is no doubt in my mind that probable cause was established. It is unequivocal. And after the film that we saw today in the courtroom, which was only privy to the people in the courtroom and the family, he did it. He zoomed in on him. We saw him take the shot, and he jumped off the roof. I mean, there's no, and when I say we saw him take the shot, because I don't want anybody misconstruing what I'm saying, is that you can see him go into the prone position. You can't see the fire, you can't see the muzzle flash or anything, but you can compare the actual video of Charlie getting shot at the timestamp where he went in the prone position. Those two match up within seconds. And so it's very clear that a reasonable person can deduce that he took the shot at that time.
Details from inside the courtroom after the 5-day preliminary hearing for Charlie Kirk's accused killer wrapped moments ago. Remember, just yesterday, Tyler Robinson's former roommate telling investigators Robinson confessed to killing Kirk in person and in text messages. Another dramatic moment today when surveillance video of the suspect on the roof was shown in court, but not on TV. Erica Kirk and Charlie's mother crying and hugging in court. And now we are getting new reaction from the Kirk family. We are live at the courthouse in Provo, Utah. Josh Ritter, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, standing by. But first to Matt Finn. Matt.
Trace, this 5-day preliminary hearing has ended. We are not getting a ruling on whether this will advance to a murder trial. And moments ago, the Kirk family released a new statement writing in part, as difficult as these last few days have been, it brings our family comfort to know that the world has witnessed the overwhelming evidence of what occurred to Charlie that day. Nothing will ever undo the loss of our beloved Charlie. As this case moves into its next phase, we pray that truth will continue to be heard through a process that is fair.
It was emotional. You know that last video that they showed that was zoomed in? You could see it as clear as the noonday sun that he came into the facility. He climbed onto the roof. He was in a prone position. He took a shot, ran and jumped off the roof just like the testimony showed. It was emotional to see Erica have to watch that, and to have the person who killed her husband in the courtroom. It was emotional. It made me upset at the reality of this, because Charlie was a good man, just doing what God called him to do, and some person who had hardly any value to this world decided to take his life. Was very frustrating. But I am glad that the evidence is presented. Anybody with any kind of integrity that want to know the truth, they have access to see anything they want to see in this court hearing. It's very clear that they got overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did it. Not only is the video evidence of him doing it, he admitted through text message, electronic communication to Lance Twiggs that he did it, why he did it, that he hid his gun, all of the things that we now know. But it's unequivocal that probable cause was established, in my personal opinion. Now, we got to go through a court process, which means that there still need to be arguments on both sides, and the judge needs to make a decision. But I think it's very clear. The defense had no articulable, defense to anything that was promoted by the prosecution. And for everybody that's doing the conspiracy theories, you have no leg to stand on. And I'm telling you right now, you guys, these people are lying. They're flat out lying. That guy, it's a guy that does social media. He's a former Green Beret. Just flat out lied on his platform. And I would challenge anybody in the United States of America and abroad
If you want to debate whether or not probable cause was established, and you want to debate that these conspiracy theories are all hogwash, I will challenge anybody to a debate on this topic, because I'm so sick of watching people manipulate people because they want conspiracies to be true. There is no evidence to any of these conspiracies. People are just saying things without verification whatsoever. They have video testimony from the parents. They got testimony from Lance Twiggs. Tyler Robinson turned himself in. They have video surveillance footage. They have DNA of him with the gun, with the 30-06 cartridge. Now we know what 30-06 Winchester round it was, which was a it wasn't a full metal jacket. It was like a light round it's like I don't know, it disintegrates more easily than a regular full metal jacket round. And so that, and many people in the firearm industry, now that they see the actual round that was alleged used, which verified it was in the gun with his DNA on it, that it was highly possible that when Charlie was shot with that round, that it would disintegrate and fragment in his body, just like it did. They lying about there being another round, like Valhalla said, which he's a complete idiot, saying that there was another live round on the same roof as Tyler Robinson. That was not true. That is a lie from the pit of hell. And for that fool to watch the whole thing and come up with that conclusion is disingenuous. The round was on a separate building that didn't even have line of sight to Charlie Kirk. And that round was accounted for. You can go, and now we know, with all the evidence presented, that it was a 30 class weapon, a 30 class round, which is a 30 caliber. So it couldn't have been a 223 or 5.56. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I'm glad that Charlie's going to get some justice, and everybody out here pushing conspiracy theories and want to work with the defense should be ashamed of themselves, and they cannot say in good faith that they're supportive of Charlie Kirk. Supporting Charlie Kirk is supporting Charlie Kirk's wife. That's how this stuff works. That man loved his wife. You don't see a text message. You don't see a post. You don't see a video. You don't see nothing would indicate that Charlie Kirk didn't love Erica with all his heart. You have no evidence. You have no evidence whatsoever. Not a text, not a message, not a leaked video, nothing that would suggest that Erica Kirk did not love Charlie Kirk with all her heart. You have no evidence. And with that being said, if you love Charlie, you support Charlie Kirk, then you should support his wife. And you ain't got, and nobody has evidence that she did anything wrong in this situation other than you think she's awkward because she had leather pants on. I want to cuss and scream and threaten people sometimes when it comes to this stuff, but I'm not, because I'm a good Christian man. What's my question there? I think we got a question. You guys have a freedom to ask a couple questions right here. It says, were you confronted by a conspiracy theorist while outside the court or while in Utah? No, nobody come to me. And if they want to confront me, let me not say that. Nobody confronted me. Thank goodness they didn't, for their sake, to be quite honest. I think there was some weirdos out there. I saw a video of somebody that was online that I thought I saw at the courthouse. That's a weirdo. And if you following any of these people that say that at the courthouse and they tell you something contrary to what I'm saying, they're lying. You can't listen to them because they're lying to you, manipulating you. Are there usually no closing arguments in preliminary hearing? Well, the hearing got continued to September the 1st. So the closing arguments will be on September the 1st. So technically they rested their case, but the arguments that they're going to make has been continued to September the 1st. So there's no closing arguments in this particular hearing because it was continued to September the 1st. On September the 1st, they would give their closing arguments, the defense would give their argument, and then there will be, I believe, a brief rebuttal. And then that'll be the end, and the judge will make his own decision. Just so you guys know, all the evidence that was put into evidence, the judge will review, even if it wasn't public. Like there was some items of evidence that was redacted and different things like that the public didn't have a chance to see. Well, the judge had a chance, is the evaluator of the evidence, and he had a chance to see it. even though the public didn't. So just so you know, all of that stuff was put into evidence. Okay, let me see. Hold on a second. All right. How draining was this week for you on a scale of 1 to 10? How tired are you? Well, it was probably like a 6 or 7. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, of course, I played college football. I was a police officer working crazy shifts doing SWAT. And so I've obviously had more draining days than just sitting in the courtroom, but mentally, emotionally, it's pretty draining. I say it's a 6 or 7 on the scale. I got a lot of energy because I'm still young, but mentally, it is very draining to sit there because it's not like you're just sitting there and it's happening. I'm watching, I'm observing, I'm paying attention to every word that's being said. And I also have to deal with the emotions of realizing that I'm sitting at a trial where my friend Charlie was murdered. And I'm sitting next to his widow and his mama and daddy who have to suffer through every minute of this. And that part is draining. You know, I feel bad. You know, Erica watched that video, you know, of it really encapsulated this whole trial. Watching that video that zoomed and circled and made it very apparent that Tyler Robinson what he did. And you know, people were going out and saying they have no evidence to him on the roof, you know, firing a weapon. Okay, now you know you can't trust those people. All right, any other questions? Let's see. Do you think this will go to trial? If so, how long did that happen? Well, I want him to get put to death, to be honest, according to the law. I don't find there to be any rationale for Tyler Robinson to take this to trial. It makes no sense to do it unless he want to spend $5 million trying to get himself life in prison instead of the death penalty. That's the only thing I can conceive that would happen at this point, because it appears, even in the preliminary trial, that the evidence is overwhelming. Now, if he does plead not guilty, because they haven't entered a plea yet, if he does plead not guilty, and they're not going to enter a plea until after closing arguments in September. So just so you guys know, we're not going to see any of that. I doubt it. But if he does plead not guilty, they go to trial. It's not going to be for another year or so. It's going to be forever before they actually take this to trial. They have so many witnesses and evidence, and they got the jury to select, and there's going to be all kinds of stuff. So if he does take it, it's going to be another year. What is the death penalty in Utah? We think it's lethal injection. They do have a firing squad, but I don't think that they've implemented the firing squad as of yet. I think once they accept it, I think it's a time period in which they can implement it. If there were a firing squad, I would love for the person who killed Charlie Kirk, which right now a reasonable person believes is Tyler Robinson. I would want nothing other than for him to receive justice according to the law by way of firing squad. And I would want to witness it. Not because any other reason, but because it's according to the law, and we are to follow the law. And if the law leads down that path, that would be something that, and you afforded, the families afforded the opportunity to see the firing squad, and I would like to see it. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be creepy, but I think a person that did what he did according to the law deserved to be put to death. It was a heinous crime. It was premeditated. It was aggravated. He did it because he hated somebody's political beliefs and their faith belief. He tried to hide it. He was not remorseful. You know, he did all kind of things. Even now, you know, I know this is not going to count against him, but the fact that he hadn't just pled guilty already is another insult to injury. And, you know, that's pretty much all I got to say about it. But I love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging in there. There's not going to be anything else that's going to happen in this case until September the 1st, unless there's some type of other rulings or some appeals or something that happened in between time. I doubt that could happen because the court, this session is still open. It's just being continued. But I just need y'all to pray, man. We got to pray that people just understand and acknowledge the truth, and these people quit lying out here, man. You lose credibility when you're lying about this stuff that's quite obvious. You know, I just wish I can dispel every single conspiracy. I just wish I could do it. I don't have the platform to do it. When I say platform, meaning that I make these videos and it's only 100,000 views, and these conspiracy theorists make video and they're getting 10 million views. And I can't get all of them, but I'm gonna try my best to dispel as many of them as possible. And so people can be transparent and honest about what's going on here. It's the same thing that happens in police shootings. People jump off a cliff and go, oh, no, 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 no. And I'll tell you, wait a minute, I did this for a living. I'm looking at the way they're handling the case. I'm looking at the evidence that's presented. I'm telling you that the officer is not going to be found guilty. And then we go to trial, and I watch the trial, I listen to it, and people are still crying about something that never happened. So people that think Tyler Robinson shouldn't be, you didn't watch the evidence, and therefore you think Tyler Robinson shouldn't go to jail. Like, it is very clear that he did what was accused of him. And there's so many other elements of the crime that is just obvious, man.